Hello, welcome. I'm David Ginder, one of the hosts at Colorado Public Radio Classical, and I'm here to host another virtual recital by violinist Charles Wetherbee and pianist David Korevaar, both from CU Boulder. The program today is called Let's Dance, and we shall. But first, I'd like to introduce Charles Wetherbee. He has a few introductory remarks. Charles is director of the Snake River Music Festival. Charles Wetherbee.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for this virtual recital. I just have a few things, and then we will get back to our program. The first is that, being a digital platform, we can take advantage of technology, and we are using the function of closed captions or subtitles. And so here's a screenshot of the YouTube video screen. If you follow where the cursor is moving down to the right corner, you see the icon that's labeled CC, and you can turn it on. That red line appears underneath it. And if you do this, we have added subtitles throughout the program. Now, these subtitles include notes from the composer that are from the score, as well as some comments from the musicians, and in the case of the suite Populaire, which was originally songs for soprano, we have the lyrics. So if you would enjoy this, to follow along as you listen to the music, just turn on the subtitles. If this would be a distraction, of course, just leave them off and you can enjoy the music alone. The second thing is that since my colleague David hasn't joined me yet, I can give this announcement without a mask on, but of course, once the two of us are playing together, we will have masks, which is a little bit odd to see perhaps, and certainly it is odd for us to play in them, but it is one of the easy ways to remain safe during the COVID pandemic. And lastly, if you would like to make a donation today to support the musicians, you can do so at thedurkamcenter.com. That link is below, and any amount that you would like to contribute will go towards us. The Durkam Center is a fully registered not-for-profit. So thank you again for joining us, and now let's get back to the music.
This is a virtual recital by Charles Wetherbee, violinist, David Korevaar, pianist. The program is called Let's Dance, or El Fuego Espagñol. So let's begin with a Spanish dance by Manuel de Falla. This is actually from his opera La Vida Breve. The opera isn't performed at all today, but the interlude and dance are performed sometimes in the concert hall, and the dance has been arranged for violin and piano by Fritz Kreisler, of course. Here are Charles Wetherbee, violinist, David Korevaar, pianist. It's now called Spanish Dance by Manuel de Falla, arranged by Fritz Kreisler. This is a Spanish-influenced program. It's all about dance. In fact, it's called Let's Dance. It was recorded at CU's Grusin Music Hall by violinist Charles Wetherbee and pianist David Korevaar, and that was Spanish Dance by Manuel de Falla, arranged for violin and piano by Fritz Kreisler. Well, next on this recital is another piece by Manuel de Falla, and it also was arranged for violin and piano, although in this case the arranger was the violinist Paul Kochanski. Now this started out as the 7 popular Spanish songs, and Kochanski, arranger, and composer Falla worked together to come up with the new piece for violin and piano, which is 6 of the 7. And in the new version for violin and piano, it's called Suite Populaire Espagnole. So the order is El Paño Moruno first, then a beautiful lullaby called Nana. Next is Song, Canción. Next is Polo, not Pollo, Polo. This is a Falla original, although it sounds like it's a folk dance. Falla could do that. And finally, and actually next, is second to last, is a very famous lament called Esturiana, and the last is Jota. This is another folk-like piece, but it is a Falla original. And in the arrangement by Paul Kochanski, he uses a lot of plucked chords, pizzicato chords, to imitate the castanets. Here is Charles Wetherbee, violinist, and David Korevaar, pianist, to perform the Suite Populaire Espagnole by Manuel de Falla, arranged for violin and piano by Paul Kochanski. Music by Manuel de Falla, arranged for violin and piano by the violinist Paul Kochanski. We heard the Suite Populaire Espagnole, performed on this virtual recital recorded at Grusin Music Hall at CU Boulder by Charles Wetherbee, violinist, and David Korevaar, the pianist. Well, next on the program is the Poulenc Violin Sonata. You're going to say, wait a minute, this is supposed to be a Spanish program. Poulenc is a French composer. Right you are, but there is a connection. Poulenc composed this piece in memory of the Spanish poet Federico Garcia Lorca. And actually in this, Federico Garcia Lorca was a poet who inspired many artists, many musicians. And in the slow movement of this piece, the middle movement, you can hear a Spanish influence. Now, Poulenc started writing a violin sonata several times, 3 that we know of, could have been 4 or 5. They all ended up in the trash. He didn't like them at all. This time, though, the 4th or 5th or 6th or however many he threw away, he really had to write it because the French violinist Jeanette Neveu all but demanded that he write this piece. She had good advice for the writing of the violin part. Poulenc wasn't a violinist, he was a pianist. And Poulenc said that she wrote all the good parts of the sonata. It's in 3 movements. First is a fast movement, then the slow movement with that Spanish flavor, and then there's a faster movement to conclude. Charles Wetherbee, violinist, David Korevaar, pianist, performing the Poulenc Violin Sonata on this virtual recital. It's a virtual recital recorded at Grusin Music Hall at CU Boulder by Charles Wetherbee, violinist, David Korevaar, the pianist. We heard the Poulenc Violin Sonata, written in memory of Federico Garcia Lorca. That's the Spanish connection on this program by a French composer. Well, next is a piece for violin alone. It's by Korine Fujiwara. She wrote 6 tasty caprices for Charles back about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and one of them is called Charred in a Minute. Now, Korine challenged any violinist who dares to play this piece to play it in a minute. Not 62 seconds, not 61 seconds, a minute. And Charles told me that he had to practice a bit, practice a lot to make that happen. Let's see how he did. Charred in a Minute from the 6 Tasty Caprices by Korine Fujiwara, played by Charles Wetherbee. I forgot to start my stopwatch. I hope you timed it. It's supposed to be a minute. It was Charles Wetherbee performing Charred in a Minute, no more. It's one of the 6 Tasty Caprices by Korine Fujiwara. She wrote these amazing pieces. They're so delightful and so inventive for Charles 10 or 11 years ago. And how about all you violinists out there, how about a little challenge? You're at home, right? You're doing nothing but practicing, right? Get yourself a copy of Charred in a Minute. Work it down to 1 minute and then post your performance and we'll see where this goes. What do you say? Okay, well, this is a program about Spanish music for the violin, and such a program as this wouldn't be complete without something by Pablo de Sarasate. In fact, 3 things by Pablo de Sarasate. 19th century Spanish amazing virtuoso. He also wrote 50-some pieces, all for the violin, of course. So we're going to hear Zapateado, then Malagueña, and then Jota Navarra, performed by Charles Wetherbee, violinist, and David Korevaar, pianist. Pablo de Sarasate.
Thank you.
On this Spanish violin and piano program recorded at Grusin Music Hall, we've heard music by Pablo de Sarasate, the great Spanish violinist, 19th century. He was an amazing violinist, and he went to the Paris Conservatory, which created quite a stir. This flashy Spanish player showing up at the Paris Conservatory. It all worked out in the end. So we heard three pieces by Pablo de Sarasate. That was Jota Navarra. Before that, Malagueña, and the first of the trio, the triptych there, was Zapateado. Pablo de Sarasate, performed by Charles Wetherbee, violinist, and David Korevaar, pianist. Well, we have one more piece on the program, on this virtual recital, and it's by a Spanish composer, Albéniz. Now, we know a lot of Albéniz's music played on the guitar. The fact is, Albéniz wrote nothing for the guitar. He he was a pianist. He wrote everything for the piano. And by some miraculous means, it all works really well on the guitar. And in this case, violin and piano. This is Albéniz's Tango, arranged by Fritz Kreisler, and performed by Charles Wetherbee and David Korevaar. Tango by Albéniz, arranged for violin and piano by Fritz Kreisler, and performed on this virtual recital, which was recorded at Grusin Music Hall at CU Boulder by Charles Wetherbee, violinist, and David Korevaar, pianist. This program was called Let's Dance, or El Fuego Espagñol. Many thanks to CU for the use of Grusin Music Hall and for the use of the piano. And thank you also to Ted Mulcahy and Mark Mickelson for making sure that the piano was in tip-top shape. I'm David Ginder. Thank you for joining me. I'm one of the hosts at Colorado Public Radio Classical, and until next time, be well.